All right, we are back with this developing story. A second suspect is charged with a hate crime in the violent attack on a Jewish man during a pro-Israeli rally in Times Square.
The mob.
Look at that.
The mob of 5 men attacking Joseph Borgen. Police say that the suspects spewed anti-Semitic insults while they were pepper spraying, punching, and kicking him. He was taken to the hospital, as you can see.
Detectives are actively pursuing leads on the other 3 suspects. Let's bring in New York Congressman Lee Zeldin, co-chair of the House Republican Israeli Caucus, declared he's running for governor on this program. Lee, good morning to you.
Good morning. Great to be with you.
Where do you think this wave of anti-Semitism is coming from?
It's raw hate of the Jewish people, and it's also been a stirred pot of growing hate against Israel, and a move within the Democratic Party from the far left, which in many respects has intimidated and even taken over other parts of the Democratic Party. But this is just raw hate. And unfortunately, while there's been some equivocation and trying to lump this type of hate against Jews with all other forms of hate, like all hate matters, you're not seeing that singular, emphatic, forceful condemnation of anti-Semitism and a lot of weak responses.
Last week, AOC called Israel an apartheid state, and then over the weekend, she tweeted out, "There's no room for anti-Semitism in the movement." I think we have a soundbite from her. Listen to this.
Anti-Semitism is bigotry, it is hatred, it is disgusting, and it is antithetical to everything that our community stands for. We must stand with our Jewish community, our Jewish community, in supporting and protecting them against hate crimes and violence. And this is not just about physical violence, but this is about verbal assault and confrontation.
So, Lee, the front cover of the New York Post this morning says hate's new low. Talks about a Holocaust survivor, 97 years old, being harassed on TikTok. She's on TikTok because she wants to explain to people who have questions about the Holocaust what she experienced. What's your reaction? We're showing video right now of more of this happening. I think this is in New York City.
And we've been seeing it over the last week or two, out in Los Angeles, here in New York.
Yeah, we've seen it exactly from coast to coast across this country. And really the volume of confronting anti-Semitism needs to always be ramped up. We don't want to see elected officials and others having to get shamed, guilted into making strong statements to condemn anti-Semitism. You're seeing Jewish Americans not just confronted with violence, but also on college campuses. They're being targeted, and it's not just by fellow students. It could be by faculty, administrators. We hear those stories on college campuses. As you point out, you have these older Americans and others who are speaking up on different platforms, and they're being targeted as well. So the desire to educate as part of the tactic to confront anti-Semitism is actually resulting in more people being targeted with blatant anti-Semitism. And for those members of the squad who are desiring to say the right thing now, it's important that 365 days of the year that you are strong and emphatic with your statements and your policies. You can't be voting in favor of the boycott, divestment, and sanction movement targeting Israel and filled with blatant anti-Semitism and then be surprised when this is happening. You have a country like Israel, which uses rockets to protect its people, and they're being targeted by Hamas, a terrorist organization, Iranian proxy, that uses people to protect its rockets. So on so many fronts, on the policy and the statements, the inconsistency, and oftentimes the silence, it contributes to this climate of what we're seeing where right now Jewish people are being violently targeted for being Jewish.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that Senator Chuck Schumer, who I believe has a lot of power in the Senate, I don't hear anything from him as the squad puts up their point of view, and especially Congresswoman Tlaib. So we have not seen much leadership from the leader. Unbelievable, especially on something that he even voted against the Iranian deal because it was so bad for Israel, but he just is afraid of his left, I guess. The other thing to keep in mind, talk about concern The FBI is investigating a death threat against Rand Paul, and you've seen some of these mock-ups that were sent to him in white power arrived. We don't know what that is. It's being investigated now by the FBI. What's your take on this? All he did, for example, is come out and make it clear, I got antibodies. I don't need to get the vaccine. I don't think I should be wearing a mask either.
Yeah, and he's a medical doctor as well, so he brings some credibility to his opinions when he speaks of it from that front. Senator Paul has been targeted in so many ways throughout his time in service. He's actually been physically attacked, as referenced in this most recent death threat that's being investigated against him. We have a great country in that we have diverse thought, opinion, background. Senator Paul is someone who has a libertarian background. He brings a different perspective to debate, and it should be welcomed in it. And if you have a differing point of view and you want to disagree, that's okay. But the fact that he gets targeted the way he does all this time for his passion and his principles, it's just greatly un-American and unfortunate.
Well, aren't the Republicans in Congress, you're a member of Congress, aren't the Republicans being targeted by the Speaker of the House? Because the CDC says you do not need to wear a mask indoors if you've been fully vaccinated, and yet in the House you got to wear a mask because Nancy Pelosi says not until the Republicans get them all, everybody gets a shot.
Yeah, it's all politics. And I have been in settings where you get off the floor, and when there are no cameras around, just as quickly as Republicans are taking off their masks, you're in a meeting where Democrats are taking off their masks as well, but there are no cameras around. And right now, in order to get onto the House floor, you have to go through a metal detector, and you'll get fined a lot, but you could walk around a whole bunch of other metal detectors in order to get to that one just outside the House floor, but there's no threat that has been shared amongst any member of the House of Representatives targeting another. But yeah, this is all for show politics. I thought we're supposed to follow the science. We're supposed to trust the science, in which case Speaker Pelosi should just be getting rid of that policy and following the CDC guidance, but it's all for show.